Hey guys, this video explores the downtown tours I did in Medellín Colombia, both during the day and the night, starting with the daytime tour with Real City Tours. This is a highly rated, free, tip-based tour that runs up to 4 hours. The tour guides are paisas, born and raised in Medellín, and provide the tours in English. So we started this tour, but it was really hot this day. Be sure to wear appropriate clothing, bring a hat and sunscreen.
Extremely hot. I really feel sorry for the people who are wearing jeans. And then on top of those amazing things, downtown is a place we need to take a lot more care of our belongings.
So the downtown area definitely has a reputation. It's not the safest, and frankly, not the prettiest. But tours like this offer a safe method to explore a more authentic side of the city. We first ran through a general introduction of the area.
Of Antioquia, and also these two states, the whole dark green area, we form what we call the Triangle of Coffee. So people in the coffee region, they're also called paisas.
And then throughout the tour, received in-depth information about the history and social politics.
Let me just zoom out a little bit and let me explain first the history of Medellín, the middle class and rich people of Medellín. And the majority of the middle class and rich, they always live here in the flatlands of the valley. And then the opposite of the planned city, the city that was not planned, it had no access to education, infrastructure, energy, and all these things, or the less fortunate Medellín. And the majority of the less fortunate, they always live in the outskirts of the valley. You got it? Hey guys.
One of our stops included the mayor's office and Palace of Justice, and explained the art.
On the far right, we have the origin, represented by fish, representing evolution. And right next to fish, do you see that bearded guy with the big balls? Oh, they're huge. That guy is supposed to be God, right? So two of the origins, religion and evolution. Now, guess who the face of God is? Is the face of the artist who made the monument. So that tells you a lot about our egos.
And also the city's attempt to soften the brutalist architecture with foliage. The Parque de la Luz is supposed to represent hope, a proverbial light at the end of the tunnel, another one of the city's beautification projects of negative spaces. We were advised about giving papaya, which is a phrase used here basically to advise you against being flashy with your belongings and being an easy target for robberies and pickpocketing.
Might enter into papaya level 4, that will be the highest, but I'll tell you when. Cool, right? Let's continue, and please don't give papaya. Come on, let's go right over here.
We also learned about how they added more libraries, especially in disadvantaged areas, to guide youth to better opportunities. We checked out some shops, these ones called huecos because they're long tunnels that shoot you to the other side of the street. The National Palace Mall was built and remains in the style of the 1920s. It used to be a government office building, but has since been converted to a shopping mall and some art galleries. We took a snack break here, and I got a refreshing salpicón with various fruit like papaya, mango, and banana. Our first stop after the break was Iglesia de la Veracruz, which has been known as a hotspot for illicit activities, and is therefore now controlled with barriers and checkpoints. This huge palace has a side that is beautiful and ornate, and without getting into the full story, a flat, boring side. This plaza is home to the works of art by Botera, who is known for his disproportionalism, and for memes we know and love. Oh, And the statues are made out of bronze and get really hot, so don't get burned like this guy. But you'll see that in this work of art, Woman with Mirror, she's actually no longer holding a mirror. This, along with many pieces, have had bronze artifacts stolen.
So again, a homeless person came to the plaza, cut it off, ran away. Anyways, and what happened 3 months ago?
We finished at the tour in the San Antonio Plaza. We were dropped off at the Salon Malaga, which apparently Botera annually visits, and it has a cool old-timey vibe. And right next to it is a spot to try some fried cheese bowls.
Wow.
Is it cheese?
Yeah.
Cheesy balls.
This Real City tour was by far the most comprehensive and informative I've done to date. There were really no topics that were off limits, as we talked about the drug trade, political scandals, and corruption. However, many of these things are still sensitive, so we didn't mention certain substances and people by name. I recommend checking out Camino 13 and the Museo de la Memoria, because this museum pays homage to the victims as opposed to tours that are offered that focus more on the idolization of the perpetrators. If you only have time for one outing in your stop in Medellin, the Real City Tours is what you need to do. Again, being the most informative thus far, all in one stop. Plus, as a foreigner, you will stick out like a sore, gangrenous thumb in this area. There were many locals that were staring, and many were actually nice and were waving and saying hello. However, there are still a lot of sketchy people, and it is a high-risk area for pickpocketing and robberies. I don't recommend going alone, especially at nighttime, which brings us to our next segment, the nighttime tour. This night tour, which was purchased on Airbnb for about $60 US, gives you a chance to explore similar areas, but at nighttime. This is a good opportunity to see the underbelly of Medellin in full throttle. In this tour, we actually started at dusk near the San Antonio Plaza instead of finishing here like with the Real City tour. In this walking tour, we also saw a church that was next to the University of Antioquia, and took public transport, including the cable cars, to witness the beautiful city lights at nighttime from above. We made a stop at a restaurant and had some traditional food for dinner. And walked on back through some areas, again, not being the prettiest. It was generally safe. I never felt like I was truly in danger with my tour guide, who was born and raised in the area. However, it's not something that I necessarily recommend to everybody to do. And it's a place I would have never gone by myself, especially at night. But there are some basic precautions you can follow, such as not giving papaya, which is why I have far less footage for this tour. now is a good time to talk about some of these things because I'm doing a lot of these videos so I can show a different side to Colombia outside of the stereotypes and, blog my travel too. But I'd be lying if I say that it's all unicorns and rainbows. There's certainly areas that you don't want to find yourself in. But again, I did this. It was very interesting to see a different side of the city outside of the fancy schmancy Poblada area and kind of get outside of that bubble a little bit. Exercise these precautions. Do not give papaya. If you see somebody weird, cross to the other side of the street. Don't give out money, say gracias, and leave. Be aware of your surroundings, but don't look scared. The stories that I've heard through the grapevine about robberies here have been people, whether drunk or sober, walking in the middle of the night or late at night. So if it's late at night, just spend a few dollars on a taxi or a rideshare to get home. I've also touched on this topic a few times in some of the other videos in this series, but there is a culture of machismo here, confirmed by a few Colombians I've talked to, men and women, and I've also seen it myself. And so, for example, during this tour, my tour guide went away for like 2 minutes just to go to the bathroom, and I was immediately getting whistled at and gawked at. So if you're not accompanied by a man, be prepared for these types of situations to happen to you. So especially for the female travelers out there, be particularly careful. But there is a movement against it, so I did see some posters like the one coming up. Anyway, in conclusion, I don't want to candy coat everything. This place is great. I've loved it here. There's a lot of cool things to do, a lot of great people, but I also don't want to be like, oh yeah, 100%, no problems whatsoever. This night tour was refreshingly different, and so I did like that, and I'm glad I did it. But again, not sure if I would recommend it. You have to be in a certain type of mentality and have that certain type of taste to be able to do it. And especially with the cost, you're probably better off doing the daytime tour, but again, just know that this is an option out there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.